Hey stretching fam, welcome to your daily stretch. Today we're going to be working through our hips. We're going to work through the constructive rest pose and blaster pose. The only props that you will need today are a chair, maybe a couple blankets, a couple pillows, and then of course a yoga mat if you're using the yoga mat. We'll start with constructive rest pose. You won't need any props here. So when you are ready, go ahead and meet me lying down on your back. So we're gonna start lying down on our back. Feet are gonna come hips width apart. Knees are bent, and just let your back come to the floor or the mat if you're using a mat. And let gravity gently guide you deeper towards the ground here. Now, we're going to work on this internal rotation. It's a rotation we don't work on that much. To set this up, you're going to slide your feet, heel-toe your feet, to the outside of your mat and let the knees drop in towards one another. They're not going to touch. If the knees are touching, it means you need to take your feet out a little bit wider. As the knees come in, the outer edges of your feet are going to come up. That's okay. And to adjust the intensity of this pose, you're going to either slide your feet forward away from the body, maybe you bring them in a little bit closer, maybe you bring them out a little bit wider. I'm going to go ahead and start the clock now as you're finding your position here. We're going to hold this pose for 5 minutes. Now please remember, do not force your body to hold any of these poses for the whole 5 minutes if it's not ready. We don't want to stress the body out. Letting the knees drop in towards one another, coming back to the breath. And with hips, we want to hover around an intensity of 7, 8 out of 10. So we got to get in a little bit deeper. Lots involved with the hips, a lot of the muscles and the tissues. And we have some of those deeper muscles too, that a lot of these wacky shapes we get into for our hip stretches are designed to help us get into those muscles that we might not get into as often and bring back a little bit of life. You can let your hands rest on your belly, or you can bring them out to the side, palms up, whichever feels good for you. We're at minute number 1. We've got 4 more minutes here. This is one of those poses you might not feel as you're initially getting into the stretch. But before you make any changes, maybe just stay there for about 30 seconds or so. You might start to feel this on the outside of the hips here, on the outside of the legs, in the abductor muscles. You might even feel it deep in the glutes. Remember, we do a lot of these shapes here to really help our bodies in the future, help us have that space to build the strength. I know that this stretch has been really helpful for me to build the muscles that are supporting the pelvis, supporting the hips. And it's been a lifesaver when I almost fall. We just passed the 2-minute mark here. Settle in here. We've got 3 more minutes. Deep breaths. Close the eyes. Long, deep inhales through the nose. And even longer, gentler sighs out the mouth. In the nose for the count of 4. Out the mouth for the count of 8. Really allowing the body to relax. I'm coming up on minute number 3 here. You might notice that you've found some space in your hips and the knees are starting to drop in and touch one another. If you feel that, go ahead and walk your feet out wider, or maybe crawl them down and away from the body. Again, the outer edges of the feet will lift off, that's okay. We're approaching minute number 4. We've got one more minute. By now, you're probably really starting to feel it deep within the glutes, the outside of the hips here. Again, as you hold these poses, just check in with that intensity level. We don't want to push it too much, but we want to push it enough to start making that change. We like to call this that Goldilocks space. Not too much, not too less, but just right. Discomfort is okay, pain is not. Make those adjustments to hover around your 7, 8 out of 10. Go ahead and slowly lift the knees back up towards the sky. Heel toe the feet in, about hips width apart. And maybe go ahead and bring the soles of the feet open and let the knees drop open into this reclined butterfly position. You can kind of pulse the knees up and down just to get a little bit of blood flowing back into the legs. If it feels good for you, you can also bring the feet out wider than the mat and just let them gently drop side to side. Just get a little bit of movement going, get that blood flowing again, breaking up that tension we held for those 5 minutes. And then when you're ready, go ahead and make your way back up to a seated position. Good. One pose down, one more to go. We're gonna move into blaster pose next. So you'll need your chair. You'll need your chair and you'll need a couple of blankets and or pillows. So go ahead and gather your props and meet me back on your mat. All right, welcome back. We're gonna get ready for our blaster pose. We're gonna use our chair this time. Some of you are very familiar with this pose, and you'll notice with the addition of the chair, it's not only help the body feel supported, but it is gonna help us get into the stretch in a little bit of a different manner, maybe even a little bit deeper here. I have a couple of blankets here. You can use pillows as well. I'm not using a mat, so I have one of my blankets back here that I'm gonna use to pad up my knees. And then it's always nice to have a little bit of cushioning for the chair. This hard surface can be really, really distracting, especially if you're using a metal chair. That temperature, when it's cold, it's really distracting as well. So, and again, you can use pillows here as well. So let's go ahead and set up our blaster pose. You're gonna come into this tabletop position. We're gonna start with lunging the right foot forward. So we're gonna leave our left knee on the mat or the blanket. You can also, even if you're using a mat, you can pad up your knees as well. Pad them up as much as you need to. So just start here in this tabletop position, and then go ahead and bring your palms up onto the chair here, and we're gonna lunge the right foot forward to the outside of the chair. So I don't know if you guys can see that. So I'm on the outside here. Now I want you to check in for a couple of things with this right knee. Make sure as you're letting the hips melt towards the chair here, that the ankle is underneath or in front, tracking in front of the knee. We don't want the knee tracking beyond the toes. And then check in. We want to check in with this knee here. We want to make sure that the knee is slightly hugging in towards the midline. So if you find that the knee is really trying to drop out to the right, go ahead and slightly angle your heel in and toes out, allowing the knee to track in line with the second toe on your right foot here. And then you can go ahead and pad up your chair with a blanket or a pillow, whatever you need here. I like to bring my hands to my hips here to kind of find that melting forward. We have this left leg that's back long and that hip extension, and the right leg is bent in the hip flexion. So you'll start to feel that tension arrive and on top of this left thigh here, getting right into those hip flexors a little bit, into the adductor muscles. I almost forgot there. And when you start feeling that tension there, then you can start to hinge forward, coming on to your chair. A lot of people do this. It's not about that. When you do that, you see that you start to lose this stretch that we're trying to get into for our blaster pose. Let the hips melt forward first. Maybe the spine is long, and you just hinge forward, forearms on the chair, palms turn up towards the sky. We turn our palms up here. That's a nervous system hack that we use just to help communicate to the body that it's okay to relax. So you can stay here, letting the body melt forward. The hips are going to melt up towards the chair. And eventually the torso is going to start melting down towards the chair. If we were doing this at the chair, this is where our torso will really start to melt towards the ground. You may notice we're accessing the stretch in a different manner. It's definitely a lot deeper for me. So be mindful of that, because again, we don't want to exceed beyond that 8 out of 10 in intensity. So if you're on a scale of 1 to 10, the only time we judge in yoga, if this is your yoga practice here, this is the only time we judge in our yoga, is that intensity level. Coming up on minute number 1, we've got 4 more minutes. So you're going to feel this tension on top of the left thigh and on the inside of the right thigh, getting into those adductor muscles. And check in with that right foot. As you're relaxing here, you might feel this pressing into the right heel. It's pressing you out of it. It's making it easier. The nervous system is really sneaky about doing stuff like that. So just make sure that you're relaxing in that front foot and you're letting the hips melt forward. And maybe if you're coming down low enough, you find space, you can always stack your forearms and let your head drop down as well. But don't force anything. Deep breaths. Coming up on minute number 2. Imagine the change that you are encouraging in those tissues, in those muscles. Imagine the benefits you're going to have in the future with this extra space, this extra flexibility, space for better mobility. Breathing here. Deep inhales through the nose, long exhales out the mouth. Relax the shoulders, let everything melt forward. We're at minute number 3. We've got 2 more minutes to go. If you need to make any adjustments, do so slowly. I'm just going to flatten my blanket out a little bit more. And you can always remove the blanket or the pillows that you have on top of your chair here. Or maybe you need to add more padding underneath the knee. Whatever you need to do to help support the body. Some people put blocks on the chair for the head to rest on. The more you do your stretches, the more you do this practice, you'll notice that with the addition of props, the body just really starts to relax. Kind of a metaphor in life when we have the support to do the things that we want to do in life as well. We're at minute number 4. 1 more. We're almost there, guys. Deep breaths. Never hold your breath in these poses. Close the eyes. Almost there. Deep breaths. Good, go ahead and gently press in to the right heel here. Starting to straighten the legs out. Bring the knee back. And unfortunately, we have the other side to do here. So go ahead and readjust your blanket or your mat or pillows, whatever you're using here to help support your knee. You might have to move your chair over to the right a little bit, but it's the same setup here. Hands come up onto the chair. We're gonna lunge the left foot forward at this time. Sliding this knee, right knee back, finding that hip extension, and the left knee is bent, finding the hip flexion here. I'm gonna go ahead and start the time as we set this up. Check in with the left foot. Make sure the knee is slightly hugging in. If it's trying to drop out to the left, heel in, toes slightly out, lining the knee up with the second toe. And then making sure the ankle is underneath or in front of the knee. We don't want the knee tracking beyond the toes here. And again, find that long spine first, hinge forward, and just let the body naturally melt down towards your chair here. Palms are up just to let the body know it's okay to relax here. Try not to round too much. In the shoulders, in the back. All the action is here in the legs. You're gonna feel it on top of the right thigh and the inside of the left thigh here. We're at minute number 1. We've got 4 more minutes to go. Settle in here, close the eyes, come back to that breath, let those hips melt forward. Every so often check in, make sure you're not pressing into that left heel to come out of the shape here. Let the hips melt up towards the chair here and down towards the ground. Deep breath, find that stillness. That is the hardest part of this practice, is being still in these poses. If you find it really difficult to be still, try focusing on that breath first. If that's not helping, that might be your body indicating that it needs more props. So check in with the knee. Maybe you need to add more blankets, more pillows on your chair. Lots of different ways that we can do this pose. We're at minute number 2. And don't be discouraged. Don't ever be discouraged. There is a way to support your body for all of these poses. Just remind your body, this is a lifelong practice. This is not something that we're just gonna do one day overnight and be done with it. I want you to learn these poses and incorporate them into your life every day for the rest of your life. Deep breaths, relax the face, relax the jaw, relax the shoulders, melt down towards the ground here, towards your chair. Hold that tension on top of the right thigh. We're at minute number 3. We've got 2 more minutes. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Again, discomfort is normal, pain is not. Check in with the body. Make sure it's not requesting any additional support here. Minute number 4, we've got 1 more minute to go. Remember, you can always fold your arms, stacking forearms one on top of the other next to each other if that feels a little bit more supported. Just make sure you're not pressing yourself out of it, that you're still melting forward into this pose. Breathe, breathe, breathe. We're almost there. 30 more seconds. Okay, go ahead and slowly lift up out of this shape here. Maybe straighten that left leg just for a moment. Bring the knees back, and you are done. Great job, everyone. Hip stretches done for today in the books. We are good to go. Please remember, these are stretches that you do after any strength building exercises. If you are planning on doing any kind of running, weightlifting, anything like that, please wait at least 2 hours for your body to be ready for the strength building. So great job, you guys. And I will thank you for stretching with me. I hope to see you guys tomorrow for another round of stretching, 15 minutes. Hips, hamstrings, we're doing hamstrings tomorrow. Thank you guys, have a great one.